This is Brandon Tatum.
Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian DL Hughley just said about me. Posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist? You are the lamest dude in all of comedy.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this? You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him. That's not emotional. About how those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Bradley on the other. You talk to them for 2 days and now all of a sudden you know if they're guilty. You know if they're innocent. You know that. Your name is, your moniker is Officer Tatum, not Detective Tatum. You didn't make your way to detective. You're an influencer who says what white people want you to say. And don't you find it interesting that they chose to speak to you, and they chose to speak to you for the same reason that you're a conservative, for the same reason Turning Point did, because you're safe. They know you're a black man who'll do what he's told.
First of all, DL Hughley is not on my level. One point in time, DL Hughley used to be the man. At one point in time, I used to like DL Hughley, and I thought he was funny. Now, he was not even the top 5 in the Kings of Comedy, in my opinion. But I thought I respected his game. Just to grow up and realize DL Hughley is a simp, and he's a beta, and he's a crybaby, allegedly worth $10 million, but he's still crying about the white man every day. And he crying about the white man, yet he worked for white men companies. He's so black that he don't even care about black women enough to not cheat on his wife. He posted a picture of my wife. At least I ain't cheating on my wife. He cheated on his wife, got an outside baby. And a very unfortunate situation happened with his outside baby. And he want to come at me when he wasn't even there to protect his children. Then his young daughter gets into a sexual situation with a minor, where they both were minors. And she came to her dad in confidence, her black father, in confidence, and said she was being abused, and he didn't believe her. Brother, why are you talking about me? Why are you talking about me? You need to be worried about your own household. All the drama I just mentioned with his inner family ain't now one of the suspects in that situation white. A white man didn't cheat on your wife. A white man didn't abuse your daughter. And a white man didn't take the life of your infant child whom you had out of wedlock while you were married. These are all black people doing this. And DL Hughley, that's your stage name. You still going by your stage name, Negro. You ain't even a comedian no more, passing out on stage and stuff. You ain't even funny no more. But you going by DL Hughley.
You talked about it.
He said, I didn't make the team, or I didn't make it to the NFL. Okay? I don't think that's anything somebody can be sad about. And I'm also glad I don't have CTE either. So it's not all bad. You would never make it you won't even make it to college. You were in high school. Little beta male talking about it. Then I became a cop. What did I do as a cop? I protected black people with my life. DL Hughley is telling jokes.
Had to jump in on this one. Terrible Tatum just responded to what DL Hughley said about him yesterday after Hughley called him an unfunny comedian for allegedly posting up his wife on social media. Now, I don't think Hughley did that just to disrespect the man's wife. I think it's more about the pattern people notice once you're the guy online pushing anti-black talking points, trying to please and appease certain audiences, even breaking down in tears on camera at one point, while still claiming to care about racial issues. When that's your brand, people are going to start connecting dots. And yeah, some of them will bring up who you're married to, because let's be real, it was never about who you married, it's about how you carry yourself after you married them. Keeping that 100. And based on how Tatum clapped back, it's clear Hughley's comments landed hard, because Tatum went about as low as you can go, dragging his own family into the response and then some. I've got a link in the description if you want to watch the original clip from Tatum's platform in full. Hughley actually posted a lot more on his Instagram too, and honestly, I debated even including the part where he brought up Tatum's wife and kids, because that's personal territory, and I don't think it serves much purpose to repeat it. But then I thought about it. Tatum has a platform many times the size of mine. He's been featured on some of the biggest platforms out there, so people already know who he is. Might as well let people see for themselves how he responds to criticism, because instead of addressing the actual point, why he's so committed to pushing anti-black talking points or getting emotional on camera over certain people, he made it personal. That's why I left it out at first. Now, you all know I've been critical of DL Hughley plenty of times over the years, and I still disagree with him on a lot of things he said. That stance hasn't changed. But on this particular point, he's completely right. Tatum said a lot in his response, but in doing so, he actually proved Hughley's point for him, because instead of engaging with the argument, he made it personal. He brought up money, success, and claimed Hughley works for powerful white interests. None of that actually addresses what was said, and it definitely doesn't speak for an entire community. And here's what's wild. In the black community, people often say we need to speak up, we need to do more, we need to hold each other accountable. But then, when someone actually does speak up, especially about something as serious as what's happened in Mississippi, a state with a well-documented history of corruption, law enforcement abuse, and lynchings that I've covered myself, when someone with a platform chooses not to stay silent, they get accused of having already made their money and not caring about anyone else. That logic doesn't hold up. Because normally, when people speak up for their community, they're respected for it. They're seen as standing on the side of their people, riding for their people. So this wasn't somebody just doing it for attention. That framing doesn't add up either. And let's be clear about something else. DL Hughley could get booked for a comedy show tomorrow. He could headline a stand-up set or host his own radio show without missing a beat. Tatum, on the other hand, can't be booked as an officer anywhere. Not as a cop, not as a police officer, not as an investigator. And I think that point actually got under his skin, because he never really addressed it. Yeah, you gained popularity because you used to be a cop. Fine, that's your history, but you're not a cop now. Nobody's paying you to be one, and you can't legally identify as one in real life. Meanwhile, Hughley can go do stand-up anywhere, any night of the week. That's just the reality of where each of them stands in this. And apparently, this isn't even the first time Hughley has gotten the better of him online.
Turns out I came into this late. The two of them had already been going back and forth before I caught wind of it. But here's the thing. This is exactly the hustle a lot of influencers and internet personalities are running right now. They attach themselves to whatever racially charged controversy or incident is trending, then use it to push anti-black narratives. They wake up every day looking for an angle to work that story from. It's gaslighting, manipulation, verbal gymnastics, and word salad, acknowledging one thing while conveniently ignoring another. They'll nod along with the positives we've accomplished, then turn around and act like they don't understand the role this system has played in keeping black people boxed into certain positions in this world. They act like we're just a problem population, when in reality, we've been thriving and surviving since day one, building long before colonizers ever showed up. But the media loves to spotlight the negative, taking what's actually a small percentage and making it look like the whole picture. And that's the game Tatum is playing right along with everyone else doing it. This is what guys like Terrible Tatum and others in his lane are going to keep doing because it works for them. It goes viral fast, and it builds them a loyal audience, just keeping it 100 with you. But when it comes down to it, I'm standing with DL Hughley on this one.